republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hayward,
Here.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Here.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Hayward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Nobody is signed in for public content. So I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the June 25th, 2018 regular meeting and the June 29th, 2018 special meeting, city financials for the month of May and June, budgeted transfers for the months of May, June, and the annual budget, Independence Barbecue Class C beer, wine, and outdoor service liquor license, August 25th, 2018 through August 30th, 2018.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is approval of the claims for payment.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the free hearing testing event and waive compliance with the following city codes: Chapter 135, Street Use and Maintenance, Section 135.06, use for business purposes to allow him to park his mobile hearing trailer in front of Hardick Drug, and provide free hearing test July 11th through July 13th, 2018, from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
Do they use electricity that we,
It comes from, I believe, Hardick Drug runs
Drug.
their.
does.
or they run a cord across there?
Yep. They've done it for years.
I know they've been there for years, but I
They
just
tape
read
it
something
down
about
and they do a good job down there, too.
I just read something about that they use electricity, and I wondered about how the cord ran.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
okay.
Kurtz,
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda, which is coming up. Next on the agenda is a motion to appoint Catherine Reedy to serve as a member of the Independence Library Board of Directors, which will fill their whole.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Excellent choice, yes.
Hannah,
yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
I agree with you, Mike. Motion carried. New business, motion to approve the contract with Midwest Concrete for the construction of Enterprise Drive Trail.
Familiar with the way you talk.
This is the contract for the state bid letting that happened on June 19th. We received the contract from DOT for Midwest Concrete to construct the Enterprise Drive South Trail, and it requires council action so we can proceed.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Hayward. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the lien release for Brenda K. Curry Thompson from the 2012 Homeowners Rehabilitation Program.
Can we get some information on this? I was at a loss for, was it?
This would be a homeowner rehab project similar to the one that we're working on right now, where they're required to be in the house for 5 years.
Okay.
And it's a stepping or a graduated decrease in what they have to repay should they sell the house.
Oh, sure.
She's extended beyond the term of the lien restriction. She wants to refinance her mortgage, and in order to do that, she has to have the lien released. So it just takes council action to release that. And this
So-
is through the, I'm sorry, this is through Intercog's recommendation. They sent the request over.
Okay. So moved.
Met all of the requirements for us to release her? Okay.
Motion by O'Laughlin.
Second.
Second by Scharf. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda, a motion to approve the purchase of video equipment from Heartland Videos plus related cabling, connectors, and installation.
This replaces the equipment sitting right behind Mr. Klotzbach. About a year ago, we did the sound system, the microphones, and the audio. This takes care of the video piece and the connectors that go to Indytel. And this is consistent with the quote that we received in December for budget purposes. They have held the price since December, still consistent with what we had there.
So if I understand right, this connection should improve the ability to hear?
It only says video.
Well,
That's, I heard video, we need sound.
but everything runs through this system back here and out to Indytel.
So it should be able to talk to Indytel?
It should be able to connect with Indytel's equipment. It's in the high def category, whereas currently our equipment is still analog, as I understand.
Should or will?
You know, I'm not an audiovisual engineer, so I'm not gonna tell you that it's going to take care of it.
My concern is if you have your TV on Channel 7, watching KWWL, and you go to Channel 25, which is the public access, you cannot hear it unless you change the volume. Therefore, I don't know if our problem is in our equipment or something up there, but there's a reason that Channel 25 can't be heard. And I don't think that's the city's problem. I think it's something with Indytel, and I would really like to challenge them to fix it.
Before we
Or
spend
find out what it is.
$15,000.
$15,000 is a lot of money to spend if it's something that's wrong up there. And if their own public access channel isn't working,
Yeah.
then it's not our problem. That's my only concern. I just hate to spend that kind
I
of
get that
money.
channel at my house. Volume's the same, but you can't hear the council meeting on it. So,
When it's not council meeting, you can hear it local access? Good.
yeah, fine.
See, I'm the same way John is. I
You can't hear it.
switch from one to the local access, and I can't hear it.
Well, I think one of the problems we've had in the past is that they always point our way, so unless we make this change, we don't have anything to, because there's nothing else we can do after we make this change. If we can't hear when we make this change, then it's in Indytel's pocket. But so far, it's always been, well, it's something on your end, you know, and so I guess this is the time we want to fix it. I guess we might as well go ahead and bite the bullet and do this because this is the last thing we can do.
But if it doesn't work, then we're out $15,000.
Not really, because we got to upgrade to HD stuff anyway. The analog stuff came over on the Mayflower. That's outdated. It's been outdated for 20 years. We're still going to have to upgrade to an HD quality signal at some point.
And is this price accurate, 11,687.85?
Correct. And be very clear, though, that does not include some of the cabling, the wire that they have to use.
Does not include racks, wiring, interconnect, cables. How much more will that be?
Well, that's the $15,000 budget. That was the estimate that we received from the folks at Indytel for the equipment, based on the quote that we have, plus the added cost to put it in.
The added cost to the light plant or to have it put in to connect to the light plant? Why?
Well, the cabling is here in the council chambers.
Okay. And we're replacing that. Does this do away with the little lever last month, they said it was a lever that got switched off, was why we had no volume in anything.
I can't speak
last
to that.
expense.
I don't know how that interacts with the rest of the system. I do know that the equipment sitting there next to the TV set is comparable to the equipment that we replaced in the community I worked in 2008. So we replaced it 10 years ago. And I won't say it's exactly the same, but it's the same technology that we were replacing then. I know it's old. Whether or not it's going to solve anything, I sure don't want to sit here and tell you that it's going to cure all of our ails and make everything wonderful. It's, as Councilman Hill said, it's really the last spot that we have to go to do anything here.
Do we have fiber in here, Blake, do you know? They have, Indytel has it in other, out in the community. Yeah, but not to here.
My understanding is that all this stuff comes into the system and it dumps it down to the analog. And then when it gets up to Indytel,
Converts it back.
where the conversion process isn't necessarily converting properly.
But if we replace
So
this
it's our
equipment, will it
mistake.
all be HD?
So it's our mistake.
I don't know for sure. I know that when they were talking a lot of the stuff, even the MediaCom, when they were in, the comment that everyone kept saying that was consistent with everybody is that this is really outdated equipment. So I think they're kind of cobbling pieces together that to try finding where the weak link is. It's been cobbled together so much by so many different people that it's a needle in a haystack. Is my understanding of it.
But this will be the last of the equipment that will be analog, and this will be HD. So all of our equipment will be HD if we do this.
That's my understanding.
I make the motion that we approve this.
Second.
Motion by Hill. Did I have a second? Hayward, okay. Is there any other discussion?
We'll be ate alive by the public if it doesn't work. We're spending $15,000.
Tell them to call Indytel, because it's their baby
If it
then.
don't work, Bob will pay for it. He's the one that had all the confidence in it.
You'll all be voting, so roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Well, I'll be voting, I guess no.
Vaughn,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Hopefully, this will be our final solution. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the wastewater purchase of a 3-4-ton pickup from,
At this point, I have to recommend that the pickup purchase come from Dunlap. They are the lowest remaining bid of available pickups. If we choose to do anything beyond, our next option is to order a 2019. We do not have a build date or an order date from Chevrolet. Ford would be November, December, somewhere in that time frame. But at this point, we either order a brand-new 19 and wait till late into the fall, or there is a pickup at Dunlap's that meets our specifications.
Well, there's a Ford invoice here on the,
That is no longer available. They bid it, it was sold, it was from another dealership out of state, and that was the quote that we had. If it was available today, it's not available today.
okay, that was 21,000. How much is Dunlap's?
That
18, wasn't it? 18 or 19.
should be $1,600 more, I think.
Oh, that's right, it was more, because yep. It's like 18 or 16 on it. You're right, it was more.
I'd make the motion and purchase it from Dunlap's.
motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Hill. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a wash bay repair, motion to approve the purchase.
We have a
Skip
Street
one.
Department.
Okay, I missed one, sorry. Sorry, Tim. Oh, you're sitting right there, just waiting to be called. Motion to approve a purchase of a 3-4-ton pickup from blank. for the street department.
Which one?
At this point, I'm just double checking myself, I believe it's the Rydell is, Ford is the,
2019 Ford.
is the least expensive. On the Dunlap Motors, it's very similar in bid, but we do have to add the $450 to the base bid for the running boards and flaps, and that takes them to $29,833.81. And the Rydell bid is $29,291.72. So very, very comparable, but the Rydell bid is lower.
I'd make the motion to purchase it from Rydell.
So moved? Or second?
Motion from Kurtz to purchase from Rydell, second by O'Laughlin. Any other discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Oh, so they
Roll
call-
call.
Did they call my name?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is
Now, let's
carried.
go try the hearing aid place out, Denny.
That's free, isn't it? Yeah.
It's free to get it.
It's right down my alley.
tested. Yep.
The check is free.
Next is a motion to approve the purchase of the Hotsy pressure washer.
Is this to keep your new pickup clean, Tim?
Pardon me?
Is this to keep your new pickup clean?
Yes, it will. It'll keep it sparkling.
Can
Tim?
we run our cars through it all?
Yeah.
Can we run any of our cars through there?
That's totally up to the city manager.
Probably
Yep.
get the
Had
newspaper
to
too.
ask.
Tim, can I ask you, I see you're in favor of the Husky or whatever, and I see there a little bit more, not a lot, but I just question you, why?
You know, I don't know that much about the Hotsies, but I've talked like Mark Tarp and different guys. There's fewer moving parts, and they feel it's a better machine than what we have right now. And I mean, so we're gonna try it out. And the one we have is 2002 or 2004, but we thought we'd try it. It's an industrial machine. It puts out like a half a gallon more water than the other one does.
Have you spoken with anybody that's had that machinery, that, and they're satisfied with it?
I talked to a couple, I talked to a truck dealership, and I talked to the schools, and, I thought different people had Hotsies, yes.
Okay,
The guy gave me a whole list of different people that I talked to.
okay, thank you.
The price difference, while the first bid is $128 less, it does not include installation.
Oh, it does not.
And the Hotsy does include the installation.
Yeah,
I see.
First guys, they do not have what you call a legal plumber. They do all the work, maintenance stuff, all that stuff on them, but they do not do the plumbing. You have to hire a plumber to plumb it up and stuff for them.
Oh, well, that'd make up the difference real fast.
Yeah.
I'd make the motion to do the Hotsy.
Second,
Motion by Kurtz, second by Scharf to do the Hotsy pressure washer. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next, under new business, is a motion to approve application for a $25,000 matching grant through Northeast Iowa RC&D for public art projects and to budget city's match in the 2020 budget.
This is an opportunity that came up at our ICE-T meeting last month. The RC&D is applying for a grant. They need communities that are willing to commit to it. The grant application is due, I believe it's in August, so they're doing it right now. They need the communities to commit. We do not have to commit the cash right now. We can put it into our next fiscal year budget, but it's a dollar-for-dollar match at $25,000. And the public art piece, you can do a number of things. The question that came up, or the interest, was the replacing the mural on the north side of the river on First Street East, on the side of the building, and I don't know the name of the building there, but there's a mural that is faded. On the side of Chung Gardens, there was apparently at one time a mural with 2 opportunities. And there's, the side of City Hall was another one that was raised as a possibility. I don't know what murals cost to put in, but we would have a total of $45,000 after grant administration fees to put toward public art.
I had a question on this. Would this possibly cover entrance signs?
That question was raised with a lot of enthusiasm, and the answer is not likely.
So Al, if, I say they want to get 4 to 8 communities, say they don't get their minimum, I mean, is there a minimum that they have to have for this program, is what I'm asking?
I don't know what their minimum is before they apply for the grant. They've had luck with application in the past.
Okay.
So I don't know how many are looking. Manchester in the last round was successful, and they did 2 art projects, one down by the Whitewater Course and one kind of at the entrance into the downtown.
I know what you're talking about, I've seen it.
But I don't know what their minimum is to apply for the grant. This is something I wanted to bring to the council. If you're interested in it, again, we don't have to do the murals. That was what I had in mind from conversations in our downtown renovation and enhancement discussions, but there are other opportunities. We have to, in the next few weeks, identify what that is and put some estimated costs.
Did the city initially pay for those murals?
I have no idea where they came from
They
originally.
were done by local
I think they
artists,
were.
weren't
I can't remember
Sarah?
for sure, but
Sure, yeah,
I'm fairly sure that we contracted with an artist to do those, a local person.
Tom Lake's wife painted the one on by the spillway for the dam, on that building there.
yeah, she was a Roscovius, we went to school.
Yeah.
She got paid, but it wasn't all that much.
No.
Just it was what, if you knew her at all, I had her in my art class myself, she loved doing that type thing, and she stepped right up to the plate. She did get paid, but.
By the city?
Yes, by the city. And then at that time, they even took some contributions from the merchants.
I mean, those aren't city buildings, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to the chamber office. Maybe they'd pay for it.
Why don't you ask?
They might make a contribution, you never know. So, but the thing is, this grant application goes in August,
Uh,
but we don't, when do they let anybody know whether they get the grant? I mean, is there-
This would be a 2019 award.
Who would be deciding what projects to use the funds on?
This would be a council decision, however you wanted to go through the process of identifying them. As part of the grant application, we do have to identify the project. If we want to do something different than the murals, we can. We're not limited to that, but we do have to make that decision and do some, get some cost estimates and kind of design the general theme of the project at some point.
I think historical murals would be pretty awesome down there,
That
really.
was a nice one down there.
And they're very visible, so it'd be a great place to have it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
I'll
remember
make
what
a
was on
motion
City Hall, I don't
That
recall.
we proceed.
What?
I'll make a motion that we proceed.
I'd second it.
Okay, motion by Hayward, second by Kurtz to approve the application for the matching grant, Northeast Iowa RC&D. Any questions?
That's one comment. Al, I know they kind of took out the, entrance signs, but is there any way you could get information that what is acceptable? I mean, I'm for the murals, don't misunderstand me, but if we could have kind of examples.
Well, I'd asked for, the entrance signs being the easy one because that's what we're looking at.
Right.
And, while technically they might be considered art, the comment was, public art is however we define it. The success of the grant will be dependent on how they view
They perceive
public
it,
art.
yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you.
and we have to have I don't want to say competitive, but we have to go through a selection process for the artists. Now, what defines an artist? And that was the other place that I got hung up, is that Is it our group that has been putting together these entrance signs because they're designing art, if you will? Or is it the folks from the artisan community that does art under the oaks? You know, there's so many different definitions there. I don't have a clear one. They weren't able to give me anything more clear than that. So, you know, I guess really it's what do we want it to look like? And if we're committed to entrance signs and we want to wait a year and a half to go through the selection process, or, and I'm exaggerating, I don't know what that time frame is.
There is a young Bosnian guy in Waterloo that does fabulous artwork. He has that restaurant downtown, and
Do we need to know who the artist is prior to them submitting this grant? Or we just need to get some prices, estimates of cost as for part of the grant?
I don't know if we have to go through the artist selection prior to that. They need to know by the 27th of July if we're interested, if we're willing to participate and commit to it.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
You know, at this point, I think there's more that we all have to learn, and Northeast RC&D will work with us.
Okay.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve this application. Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next under the agenda is discussion about the police station, but I'm not sure how much discussion we're gonna have since we don't have answers yet.
Well, I have a little bit of information for you. We had 3 areas that we were talking about. One had to do with the trees and the health of the trees, the longevity. Rodney Shoemaker from Green Tree is going to look at them this evening. He'll give us a call tomorrow, or give me a call tomorrow and tell me what he thinks of it. We did call the state DNR forestry officer for this area, and he thought he'd get to it maybe September. He covers a fairly large area.
Sure he does.
I don't know when he's back in the area, so. We also talked about the utilities because of the discussion of putting the police station in the street or closer to the street, and what would the utilities look like. Mr. Donnelly was gracious enough to put together some information for us. Along the east side of the street, just behind the curb, about 3 feet, is a 4-inch gas main that runs through there. On the south end of where this would sit, there is a 2-inch gas main that goes to the courthouse. Both of those would be movable. If we give them some notice and let them know where we intend to put it, they can be moved, so those are not deal stoppers by any means. We have to know they're there, but they can move them.
Do we have to pay for the move?
Probably,
Tim says yes. He wants to pay for
but I
it.
mean, you never know, because like up on, when we did our street on 12th, they came in as an old line spade, that didn't cost anything up there, I don't believe. So this might be the same situation, might be an old iron line down, I said they might just move at their cost. They'll create stuff.
That'd be a lot better.
And this was for us if we put it in the street or closer to the curb.
Correct.
How about the light plant? Did that get checked into?
Yeah, we'll come back to that in just a minute. There is also an old sewer line that ran to the restroom that was about halfway through that park. That can be capped at the north end of the property, so that's a non-issue. There is a 6-inch water main that runs through the street that we have to be aware of. Again, things that can be moved, but we have to know it's there, and that's ours.
And that would enable us to have access to water and sewer to the new police station should we build it there.
Correct. The other thing we talked about was, again, Medical Associates. They called me again this weekend, encouraging us, if we're interested, to make an offer. They're waiting for us at this point. If you chose to make an offer on that existing building, the rumors, and I'll call them rumors, or suggested sweetheart deal has a different connotation for us than I think it does for them. Not that they're not being fair with their good price, I just don't know that the range is in our good price perspective. But if you want to make an offer, I would suggest that you can't get a good price if you don't ask for a good price. So if you wanted to do something lower in our price range, the worst thing that could happen is they say no. I did talk to Kevin at Light and Power. They do have the feasibility study. He's going to visit with his board before they release that. That is their property. That's the work that they paid to have done and reviewed, but we won't have that until after the meeting on the 19th.
How would that work for us since they're a separate entity from the,
It would be a legal transaction. We would either have a lease or a purchase of the property. Probably a lease in this case because of the way they used everything around it.
right?
But it would have to be a formal agreement with them because we are two separate entities.
This street, you might remember at our workshop, was brought up as a possibility since we've gotten some pushback for taking away green space in the park area, that we vacate the street directly east of the courthouse parking lot, that one block street there. And some people feel that we could increase parking for the courthouse. We could use less of the park, probably not have to even go to the tree section of the park. I guess that's the question that as a council, we have to decide, would we want to vacate a one-block section of street? We've negotiated with Tim. We've given him two wonderful options, and he's opted that this would be the best option to choose.
Well, I think before we make any other decisions, we still need to find out the answers on the light plant. We need to further discuss whether we want to make a bid on the Medical Associates building before we really proceed much further. So we got some answers that we need.
Yeah, one thing I was curious about too is, would the light plant area that we're interested in be larger than what we intended to build? So that's a plus.
Yes.
When they want the vehicles in there because of the computers, then that would be a natural.
One of the biggest issues that the task force that you had that was looking into this and spent so much time with, and was the first thing that came up with them, is they did not want to take property off the tax roll. So if you give a bid to the Old Medical Associates building, you're going directly against one of their recommendations at that point. And you do have a couple of other options before you have to do that, so you need to be considering that also. So do we just table this?
That's a good point.
But if that place continues to stay vacant, they'll get their taxes lowered. So how much are we gonna save?
Why will they get their taxes?
Yeah, they'll get them lowered.
Yes, they will.
Well,
Because it's-
because of the functional use of the building, over time, it
Yeah.
generally will.
Hopefully
Like when
somebody will come along
It's
and
like
rent
when
it.
Tyson sent to empty. Same thing.
So over time, considering how, years, months, what,
Years.
Years.
before they would be lowered?
I mean, that's a judgment call on the county assessor's behalf, and it depends on other factors out of the community, but,
Well, they could petition for it too after a year, or
Correct.
after 18 months, can't they?
yeah, I don't know what the time frame is,
Yeah,
Mike,
sure.
but there is a time frame where they can.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if anybody thinks we should put a bid, they could call Al and tell him what you think.
I don't think we're under any obligation to make one right away. If somebody bids it or bids on it, or or rents it, that just keeps the taxes up and solve that problem. We don't have to run out like we're under pressure.
But we could
make a lot
lowball.
of We make a lot of silly mistakes when we're put to that pressure thing, you know?
I think Al needs to gather the other information that we're waiting for first.
Right.
Exactly.
That feasibility study will be a real key for us.
One thing that you do want to do, if you're considering a real estate transaction, my recommendation would be that you discuss with the city attorney the viability of having a closed session for the purpose of acquiring real estate, so we're not having the discussion on public TV and letting the world know before you decide to get there. And we can set that up with the city attorney's help at the next meeting, if that's something.
Well,
you
I
want to
think
do.
we've got a lot more to find out before we make that decision, I think.
And the light plant facility wouldn't take anything off the tax rolls
Right.
either.
And this, again, because it was tabled at the last meeting, it will continue to come back, so you have opportunity to discuss it, make the decision when you're ready to, but we will keep it here. It is a priority for us to find a location, and make a decision on what we're going to do with it. But again, it's in your town.
And I would just point out, if you did want to have a closed session to discuss that you get everything else squared away, you know, the cost of remodeling, any of that you need to know to make that next step before going in, because the scope of what you can discuss in that closed session, as Al very well knows, is limited to what you're going to offer for that. It's basically so you're not negotiating in front of, against yourself by sharing your rationale and options with the world.
Very good.
The Light Plant Board will have their meeting before our next council meeting, right?
Correct.
So we might have that. So do we want to just table this to the next council meeting?
Yes.
Or information at that point?
Yeah, because a week from Thursday, they have their next meeting.
And we'll have more about the trees at that point too and such, so, okay.
We could probably just leave that item on the agenda for several meetings.
For discussion purposes.
I would rather over-discuss it than rush into a decision that we regret.
We're right on track.
Sounds good. Okay, we're down to reports. Since we had a couple of committee meetings today, or is there any of those that have any reports they'd like to share tonight?
Government performance finance this morning was pretty quiet.
Yeah, we didn't have any major issues.
A little discussion about the airport.
A review of the payroll and transfers, financials.
Well, the airport should have been on public safety, shouldn't it?
Public safety, police department just talked about reprogramming some of the cameras and the new body mic systems that'll go into the squad car camera rather than separate, having to be downloaded separately. I think that was not much else.
Okay. Any other committees that you guys sit on, as liaison people, that you want to speak up as to what's going on?
Well, we did have the request that, from area ambulance, that they wanted to have their annual meeting with Al and Doug and Blake, just to discuss where we're at. So they're gonna set up a date. I think that was about it.
Not related directly to the city council, but I serve on the nominating committee for the Iowa League of Cities, and they are, or will be seeking candidates for the executive board for the League of Cities. There is a fairly robust matrix that they try and match with the size of community, the geographic location of the community as far as congressional districts, and kind of a broad-based, diverse representation. We'll be seeing that, but if anybody has an interest in serving on the executive board, let me know. It is a 2-year commitment. Currently, I also serve on the executive board I'm in my first year of a 2-year term. But there are also other committee appointments and opportunities to participate at the League of Cities. And if you have any interest in being more involved there, they would love to have you, and it would be a good opportunity.
Tim, do you have anything you would like to add tonight? Come forward.
Everything's fine, thank you for the
Okay.
picture.
You're smiling because you got your truck coming.
Free for free.
Dustin, do you have anything to add, Police Department?
Evening. So, it's the 9th. We've successfully completed another 4th of July for Independence. The turnout that we had, I think, was actually absolutely great. The city, I probably tripled in population for the one night, which was outstanding. And throughout the whole entire event, we really didn't have any issues. During the parade, we had 2 car accidents that weren't involved in the parade. They were just people trying to get traveling through the city. But other than that, the event, the heat was nice and warm, but that rain definitely cooled it off, and a lot of people flocked to the park after the rain stopped. Stop playing with my pen. So, like I said, another successful one. We had a lot of people out and about. Good time. I was kind of skeptical on the fairgrounds having their fair the exact same week, but I think it helped out quite a bit. I was worried about the animals. We never had any issues. At least we didn't have any that left the fairgrounds. I don't know if anything happened inside the fairgrounds, but nothing left the fairgrounds that I know of. I see the camping RE park for the fairgrounds was full pretty much the entire time. I know we usually are as well, so I brought some more people in that way. But all in all, it was very busy. But like I said, a couple accidents. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. So, but it was very successful. I'm expecting throughout the next few years it's just going to keep growing. With Aurora, haven't heard, but I don't believe they're going to have fireworks again. I think they didn't have them this year, so I don't think they'll have them again. That brings people from Aurora down this way. It brings people from, instead of going from Winthrop up, they'll come over here. I know people from Owine have come down because they go to Aurora instead, but no, they came this way. So I said we had quite a few people, and it was a very good showing. Even though the rain did, I think it altered some of the fireworks a little bit, but still was a very good showing. So. Other than that, last year was our first Cupcakes with a Cup that we had last year. This year we're going to do it again. The day's going to be August 30th from 4 to 5:30. It's going to be in First Ward Park, and it's a Thursday. So I said 4 to 5:30 is what we're going to have it set for. So building direction for families is one that puts it on. They asked us to be a part of it. They suggested August instead of in June or July, so it was a little less hectic for us, but it'll work out. It'll be a fun event. So,
Do you have any personal fireworks going off, or so give out any tickets for anything like that this year?
we've had a lot of personal fireworks going off this year. With my department, what I had them do is being that as a city first adopted the ordinance the state had, and allowed them to be shot off, and then we changed it. Some people don't get that communication to let them know that it's been changed. I went to all the fireworks stores and gave them a copy of our ordinance, telling them that, hey, we don't allow it anymore. But this first time, I don't think we wrote a single fireworks citation. It's all just pretty much notifying everybody, letting them know that, hey, we're not doing this anymore, you need to stop. I've even called in a couple. I've talked to a few personally while I wasn't working, and then some while I was. And I told my officers, if we have a second time or if we get multiple occurrences in one place, then we've already notified them, then we'll start citing them. But first is notifying them that, hey, the city changed the ordinance and now we don't allow this. A lot of them would complain, well, why do we sell them in town? We can't control that. That's not something that we can regulate. The state brings that forth saying they have the right to do so. We can't stop it. We can stop them from shooting them off in town or allowing them to, but we can't stop the sale.
You didn't get a lot of phone calls complaining from people about their neighbors or any of that type of stuff?
I got 4.
It seemed awful quiet
Yeah,
compared to previous years.
It was quieter
It's
than it was
nice.
quieter than it was last year. I think the biggest thing is we've had, since June till now, since June 1st till now, I have a whole sheet of all the calls we've had dealing with fireworks. And as far as I can tell, it looks like they're all in different areas. So once we've notified somebody and said, hey, you can't do this anymore, usually they got the hint, and if they go out into the county, it's a different subject compared to the city, so. I don't see a repeat offenders on the list that I've looked at so far, but I've just looked at June and July so far. So, but I'm hoping that the word gets out to everybody. I mean, I looked at the fireworks stores, other than the one that's in the old Fastenal building, the tents and stuff are empty. Shortly after the 4th of July, the next day, I think they packed everything up. The tents are still there, and as long as I'm understanding, they still have the right to sale, but there's nothing in them, so they've cleared everything out, so.
Is July 10th the last day they can sell?
8th or 10th?
10th,
I know it's getting close to that time. I wasn't sure exactly when, but shortly.
tomorrow, I think.
I believe the 5th, they cleared it all out, and there hasn't been anything in there since. This whole weekend, they were empty. So, all those have packed up and gone.
I think it helped for other towns to have taken off fireworks in their communities too, that we're not the only city that.
No, a lot of them changed their ordinance back to not
That
allowing.
news got out more, so I think that helped people be more informed too.
Yes.
So, okay, anything else?
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Any-
Fire department?
Oh, come forward. You're usually very quiet
I
back
am very
there.
quiet back there normally, but just came from the Buchanan County Community Foundation meeting tonight and received a grant from them towards our grass truck. So I just wanted to let the council know that we got that, so that'll help us bring it a little closer to getting ready for our grass truck. So
How much is it, Dick?
How much was it?
$4,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonderful.
So it goes towards the slide-in unit of the grass truck, so very thankful for that.
Great.
Did Independence get any other ones there tonight? Did Independence get any other ones there
There's
tonight?
quite a few people, the library got one, the Bark Park got one, the EMS Association, Buchanan County EMS Association got one for AEDs for all the vehicles and stuff, so there's a lot of very good organizations that got grants for it, so it's a good opportunity for people to get some money, so.
Great.
Thanks, Dick.
Sharing. Any councilmen have anything they would like to share?
I had 4 calls on fireworks in my ward.
If they heard them or knew who
They
set
were,
them off, or?
there was a nuisance, not, one on 9th, one on 6th. One on Lover's Lane, and one over in your neck of the woods, or not your drive, but the next drive over the.
I thought I heard them, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. So did any of them know who was doing it or where it was coming from? Because it's hard to know what direction you're hearing.
Right.
I
You
thought
weren't,
things
you
were
weren't
coming
shooting,
my
were you,
house, but
Bonnie?
Didn't see anybody out there, so.
She's not gonna tell you if she did.
But that was, those were the lone occurrences, and I drove to 2 of the people's houses because they asked what I do, and I didn't hear any, so.
Okay.
Well, I will note, remember Al, I told you pick the picnic tables out? Well, I was down there, and those people from Waterloo were there, and Dustin even tell you, if we got more picnic tables, put them out. They were full all the time, and nice tables, everybody commented on that, like you're gonna pick them up, take off with them. But, it was so much better, like these people I'm telling you, they're not youngsters come down from Waterloo, and that guy says, this beach last year, I was trying to hold my sandwich and my pop, and I had my lap thing, and he said, we'll be back. And so I just want to let you know, and I went and thanked Bobby, and them guys went down and seen them, and just let you know. And as Dustin said, we're having more of a crowd all the time. So we want to have a place for these people to sit down, so they can stay there and spend some more money. Thank you.
Anyone else?
A little shout out to Mark Luloff. He spent the weekend fixing water mains. Had 2 breaks. And I think, and I think it just highlights the fact that we got to get a grip on this infrastructure stuff. He says both cases, the pipes were corroded through from the bottom. I mean, they were in pretty rough shape, pretty good sized lines. I know the one was a 6-inch.
Ooh.
So we need to stay on top of that and probably need to take a look at that when it's budget time to make sure we're shuffling enough buckos that way. but, I think they were out Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
They were out until, what, 11:30 or almost midnight on Friday night. Saturday, they did go out because of the water main break. They were able to let it rest in place until Sunday when they could get a crew there. They had trouble getting a crew there from Shig-Fry again on Saturday after being out, half the night on Friday night. So they came out Sunday morning, and they were there for a couple hours and got that one put back into service. That one was over by Rydell.
Yep. And it's nice we have a relationship with Shig-Fry that they would come in on a weekend and do that, If we hadn't done our due diligence, they might have said, we'll be there Monday, Tuesday, or when we get an opening, and that could have been a little more problematic for us, but they were there bright and early. They had 3 or 4 trucks and 3 or 4 trailers and a whole crew of people.
That it?
Yeah.
Deb is too humble. The Bark Park did get its first ever grant of $2,000, which is awesome. It'll help with their shelter. They have 2 shelters to put up this year, so we need concrete and everything for those, so it'll really help a lot, so good job for them.
We've had one fundraiser, we got another one coming in August, golf tournament, so we'll get our money there.
But it is our first grant, so we're really thrilled.
Where'd you get your grant from? From the community
Community Foundation.
foundation? Good.
I heard a nasty rumor the other day, Al, maybe you could clear it up for us. I heard that somebody from the city has made an agreement with one of the spray planes to bring their own fuel in. You know anything about that?
Yes, I do. The airport board did authorize for a crop duster to bring his own fuel in and pay the flow fee because we weren't able to enter into an agreement for bulk fuel sales. And so they did authorize that.
Weren't they cutting the city of Independence out of fuel sales there?
Well, I'm not sure that I can find a spot where legally I can tell them they can't bring it in, but.
I bet I could. I bet you none of them are placard property. I bet the L-drip fuel on the ground. I bet none of them are red. I bet they're all black trailers. First of all, do they have insurance? I bet there's a lot of reasons you could keep them out of here. But even if there isn't any other reason to keep them out of here, there is one reason, and that's it's taken away from our fuel sales. 15 cents, we make more than 15 cents on a gallon of fuel by selling it, don't we?
Yes, sir, we do.
Well, then I guess we're killing ourselves. It's like shooting ourselves in the foot. Wouldn't you say?
I'll let you visit with the airport board about that.
The airport board put the blame on you, if you really want to know the truth. They told me it was your decision.
Oh, okay. Well, then I made the decision, according to the airport board, that we're going to allow them to bring it in.
I don't think that's in the interest of independence. I really don't.
Well, I think that our interest is in making sure that the crop dusters are here and that
If
we.
they're not buying fuel from us, they're not paying to be on the field, what financial advantage is them being there? Just to attract attention? That's the only thing we get out of it, it's the fuel sales.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Well, I tell you what, if they start dripping fuel and come in there with non-placard trailers, I'm gonna call the EPA.
Okay.
I will, there's no doubt about it.
I believe you.
Bet the farm on it.
How many
That's all
crop
I
dusters
got.
do we have out there?
Huh?
How many crop dusters do we have out there?
As of today, we have 2 crop dusters that are on the field. We have at least one more that has contacted us that is coming in, that I'm aware of. Generally, we'll run between 4 and 9, depending on the season. Last year, we were down a little bit. The year before, I know that there was at least 7 or 8 that were there, so.
And that
it'll-
all
it'll
comes from the
vary.
airport board, not us?
I'm sorry?
That all comes from the airport board and not us, as a
Well-
council?
As far as
They were approved to get their fuel, bring their fuel in by the airport board, you said.
Well, there was a discussion about doing bulk rate discounts. How do we, in essence, contract for bulk rate? What does that look like? And again, without having an airport manager and an FBO in place, that was, you know, we're still in transition there, trying to figure out.
They all have a credit card, don't they?
They all have the ability to use a credit card. They also have a key card or a gas card if they want it.
We spent $27,000 for a card reader. I think just tell them to use it.
Yes, sir.
Good advice.
Would it be better for us to give them a discount rather than
Why would
bring
you
in their
want to give
fuel?
them a discount?
I'm just asking, I don't know.
They don't pay any permits, nothing. They don't pay anything. The only thing we get off from that group of people out there is fuel sales. We don't sell made rights, we just fuel sales, that's it. Now we want to give that away. We want to give the whole town away, I think.
What's the reasoning for, I mean, obviously, he's saving money bringing his own fuel in.
Not only that, he can sell fuel to his neighbor, pulls in there, what's to keep him from selling a little fuel himself? I would if it was me. Somebody said, go ahead, Dennis, you got the run of the field, do whatever you want to. Yeah, that's what I'd do.
I think you may be exaggerating just a little bit.
Not at all. I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
So what did he want for a
That would
bulk
be
rate?
you.
What they'd asked for at bulk rate was cost plus 15 cents. I mean, that was their request. The airport board has discussed at length that, you know, if somebody's buying 4,000, 5,000 gallons, what does that look like? You know, it has to be a large enough user to justify a discount. But with that conversation, you know, there again, if we still have the flow fee, you have an individual that is willing to pay that and wants to buy fuel from the airport, was not able to wait to purchase their fuel because of the, you know, the fuel price is going up, and did request to bring it in. And being consistent with the conversation of the airport board as to what this would look like, or could look like, yes, we're letting him bring it in.
Is this a one-time deal? I
A
mean,
one-time deal. And the understanding is, one time.
and was there a limit on the amount he could bring in?
Well, he was willing to buy 4,000 gallons bulk rate, you know, that's a half a tanker of fuel for
Right.
us. So on a 10,000 gallon tank, that would be a fair amount over the course of the
There's
season.
another aspect you might not have looked at, Al. What if he brings farm fuel in there? And he could very well be doing that. I can't imagine somebody ordering a tanker load of aviation fuel to be delivered on the farm. So what if he brings in farm fuel and it's got water in it and that plane drops out of the sky for that reason and that reason only? He's used to fueling up here in Independence. Whose insurance company's paying for that?
Well, I'm not sure why you'd use farm fuel in there, but, you know.
Because it's cheaper.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't cheaper, he wouldn't have tried to make this deal, right?
So you wanted to suggest that he should burn diesel in his airplane?
No, I'm not suggesting that he does anything except
Well, then-
buy fuel from us.
Then why would he bring farm fuel into fuel his
Because,
airplane?
can you imagine a farmer buying a whole semi-load of airplane fuel, aircraft fuel? I can't. It doesn't.
If he's got to have it for his planes, he would.
Well,
He's
then
not
let's,
gonna- he's
then
not
let's
gonna
get a,
use-
then let's get a receipt that's actually aviation fuel. First of all, I'd say keep his tank wagon off our property to begin with. That's what my first thing I'd say. He's doing nothing but killing fuel sales for us. And that's the only thing we get out of this group. We don't get anything else.
So how
We
much
even
of,
loan him a car to go to town to eat dinner. You know,
so how much of this is a personal vendetta, Denny?
none of it.
Okay.
Not
Because
a bit of it.
it sounds a little bit like it might be, but,
Well, it isn't. Why would it be?
well, I don't know.
I'm trying to stick up for the city. Are you?
Yes, I am,
Well, then tell me how you're doing that. In what respect?
by keeping the airport running.
It'll run whether the flyboy, them yellow planes even stop there now. It'll still keep going.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
But we had one chance out of the whole year to make a little money off of the flyboy, off the spray planes, and now you're willing to give it away.
Well, we're still making money, Denny.
15 cents a gallon,
Yes, sir.
opposed to how much profit is there the other way?
It varies,
Yeah, give me a ballpark figure.
$1.
15 cents to $1. Boy, there's quite a, you'd have to really sit and nitpick that forever to figure out which is the best deal, wouldn't you?
Could take all night, Denny.
Yeah, it could take all night. Yeah, exactly.
That also empty our fuel tank, or we'd have to buy more, purchase more?
Yes.
Does he have a fuel tank in his hangar, or?
He has a fuel tank that he would bring in, and it would be, to Denny's point, it would be verified when he brings it in. It's a 1,000-gallon tank, so we know how many gallons are coming in, and he would pay for that flow fee when the tank comes in.
And haven't we done that in the past also? Seems to me we've had them have some sort
To
of.
answer your question, Mrs. Davis, he did do it in the past, but he never gave us the 15 cents. This is the first,
I didn't ask you.
oh, I'm telling you though.
Well, I
He
didn't
did-
ask you.
Al wasn't out there. I've been out there all
I'm telling
along.
you, we've had them bring their own gas in the past.
We've never given permission, they just did it.
Well, Denny, if he's always done it, then we're ahead 15 cents a gallon from what we've been in the other year.
Yeah, right. We'll fly the flag now. Victory.
So it is a one-time deal. The conversation was it is a one-time deal because we're trying to get resolved the issue with the FBO and the airport manager and keep the activity at the airport.
So we'll deal with any crop duster.
He is the only one that has requested that at this point. The other ones that I have talked to, while they want to buy the fuel at the airport, their concern is pulling up to the pump and taking the time to fuel up and load their chemical. We have at least one other request to bring a trailer on, buy the fuel at the airport, but have the trailer so they can load fuel and chemical at the same time. Because for them, time is money, and the less time they spend on the ground, the more money they can make. So, I mean, it's something that has been done in the past, where they bring a trailer in, they fill it up, but they take the trailer to their work site, so they don't have to sit in line and wait to fuel the plane with the other crop dusters or the other traffic that's there. And that's what has happened in the past. So there have been other people with fuel trailers on the airport grounds, Denny's right. But at this point, most of them have purchased in the city.
Have you even checked with the FAA to see if they legally could even bring them on there?
No, sir, I have not called the FAA.
Well, I'd have done that before I made an agreement. You should have done that right off the get-go. And I don't know what the answer is, but I can tell you I would have found that answer out before I would have said yes or no.
Is there any other council members that would have anything they'd like to say?
We've got a good 4th of July in town
I think so too.
for parade and fireworks.
Everybody work
and-
together. Makes a
Chamber
difference
did a
when you
good
have a
job.
team.
Everybody in.
Lots of candy.
Yeah.
And we didn't run out until the very end. We went all the way to the end of the trailer with our candy.
I thought you guys had a very nice float. I kind of wondered, you wore the hard hat. I didn't know if that was because the gals weren't accurate
No,
in
it's
their
because of all the
throwing, or?
construction we're gonna be having with the streets
Oh,
and
okay. I
stuff.
thought maybe you were protecting yourself from the
I don't-
throwers
I
in the
don't
back.
think eggs or tomatoes are that I'd need a hard hat for those, but we've got a lot of stuff coming.
Oh, now, okay,
second
yeah,
that.
okay, now the truth is out. Yep,
I thought it went fine.
yep, I thought it was a great
Never felt like I
parade.
was in any
and-
danger whatsoever, but I like that hard hat.
Yep. We got through the Declaration of Independence again without mispronouncing too many words. Fortunately, my wife takes the hard part. So, well, good 4th of July.
Yep. If nothing else, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Comments? Oh, you have some comments? Oh, you're gonna
Oh,
have to roll.
hold on.
Take that back. We won't vote on that
Take mine
yet.
back.
No, we won't vote on it. We'll keep yours there, but
Okay.
we won't get a second and vote on it.
Just a couple of good things to share regarding city staff. I just wanted to give a lot of gratitude and recognition for Amy and Susie for volunteering on their holiday to come in and do the float and parade for the community. I thought that was really nice of them just to volunteer that time. They were here at 6:30, so that was a lot. And then today we also had a gentleman come in, and they were talking about a grass complaint, but they really gave a lot of praise to Officer Lau for the work that he does in the code enforcement. So I wanted to pass those things along, some of the good things that the staff are doing or that we're hearing too. So that's all I have.
Are you still adding good things to our Facebook page? You're making things into positive?
Yeah, we're trying that. We're gonna have a lot more help too with our media contract that we're working on. So it'll give us some more guidelines, and we've gotten some more suggestions on things we can do. We were working on it today on our Facebook page. The chamber and Celebrate Independence and even the newspapers, they tag the city in things, and it doesn't show up on our Facebook page, and we don't know why. So we were trying to figure that out today, and we haven't come up with any answers yet. So you can see that we've been tagged, but it doesn't show up on like our wall. So we're trying to figure out why and how to fix it also. So if anyone knows, let us know.
Somebody told me it has to be, of course, I would think you guys would be public. If you have just a friend on your Facebook, then it won't show up if there's an attachment on.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be you guys.
Okay, I have a motion for adjournment. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.